Because we're also going to have that whole new area that makes a lot of traditional haiku people nervous. We're going to have a haiku slam. Now, not everybody has to slam, but we're going to have it anyway to introduce people to the form, because we think we should be not just a bridge between forms within the world of haiku itself, but rather between the styles of haiku that are evolving. So here's a bridge between that new form, the slam haiku, the haiku slam. Let's reverse that and call it haiku slam. And the world of haiku, and showing how we can bring so much of the oral tradition of haiku poetry back to the world of what has become writing something on a piece of paper and sending it off to a journal and watching it appear in those pages, and all you get from it is a smile on an individual's face. This is where you let the haiku loose in a way that 300 people listening intently receive the message that otherwise would not receive that message. Sometimes you'll be performing for an audience that has more people in it than will read the journal that you get published in. And that's what we'll try to explore and encourage people to look at the form as something that we're almost positive that ancient poets did. Present their work in relationship to each other and to the other poetry available to them at that time, and see what happens when that energy goes back and forth, and how when one person presents something, the other person comes back with something else, then the other person comes back with something else, and it's done on the spot. In essence, if you think about it, it's the contest version of what Shiki said that every haiku poet must do. He must go on a ginkgo. He must sketch. So we go out sketching all the time. But do we go out reading against each other all the time in a way that says, can you top that? Can you build on that? Can you take the energy of that poet who just did something and come up with something of your own in that time span, that limited time span that you might have? You know, we read in the Tale of the Genji about the poets having to write verses as the cups floated down the stream and they had to drink if they couldn't do it. So they're drinking and writing poetry, and it's a social event for creative minds in a way that releases so much. And I think that's what will happen at a conference like this, where we get the give and take between different aspects of the haiku world and bringing in this new energy and a different perspective from here, and a different personality from here, and a translation we've never heard from before. We have a guest coming, Richard Gilbert, who's coming from Japan, where he teaches now. But he has this totally fresh perspective that he brings to us about how haiku is practiced in Japan, and how that reflects on the fact that we are not nearly, in many ways, as adventurous in our haiku as the Japanese are. So it's going to be wonderful to hear that point of view, to say, where can we go with this? What's new here? You know, let's show us. He's going to discuss the question, you know, is there such a thing as a haiku moment? On the other hand, we have somebody saying, how long is a haiku moment? So we have every aspect of looking at the form, and as one of the speakers has said, Jim Kasian has said, and he'll give us an overview of haiku as he sees it, and of course he's the publisher of Red Moon Press, one of the major publishers of haiku. He says, you know, look, haiku is not a form, it's a genre. So we're discussing all the many forms that the genre takes. And we don't get a chance to do that very often.